Hi everyone, and welcome to my garage. In this video, I'd like to share my story with the BMW E39 M5. I'll have to start at the beginning, which basically was about 21 years ago. I had a little more hair, had a little less baggage following me around in my midsection, and the story broke that BMW was going to bring the model, the E39 M5, to North America. And so it was, I believe it was mid-1999, and I'd put a deposit on a car. And so I was on a waiting list. And so allocation came up and it was due. My car was manufactured and I was to take possession, I believe it was April of 2000. And so I'd ordered it in jet black with a caramel interior. And when I ordered it, BMW kindly sent me this welcome package. And it was this really nicely crafted letter saying, welcome to the M5 Owners Club. It was mailed in this envelope, and they sent me this really great booklet. And this is a booklet about the M series and the storied history of it. Oh, of course, I opened it to the E39 here. But yeah, this is a wonderful booklet that came to me, and I thought, geez, that was quite nice of BMW. After spending a little bit of money, I got myself a nice booklet, and I also received this, which was I guess was an invitation to a driving school that they were offering. I believe was in Spartanburg, in South Carolina. Unfortunately, it was a very busy time for me at that point in my life, and so I was unable to take advantage of that driving course. I was also able to, finagling, getting to know a few people, I also got the press release for the E39 M5. This would have been late 1999, and I guess this is what they'd sent around to various publications and stuff, so I was able to sort of grab that and keep it aside. Of course, the dealer that I dealt with, I'd received, or I got all the booklets pertaining the brochures. Of course, the M series, the regular 5 series. I've got the booklet for the parts and accessories. This again is all in 2000. This is the lifestyle booklet, clothing, and then this was just one dedicated to M clothing. So there's a Z3 in the background, and so I got that. I got anything that they printed. I got in regards to this car. This, if you open it up, it makes a big M5 poster. This is another booklet that they had, and again, photos, all the story about the M5. Again, if you go back to 2000, this truly was an amazing car. To come out with 400 horsepower and a 6-speed manual, and it was a family hauler. My 2 boys at the time were very young, so I had my baby seats in the back, and here I am going around racing Corvettes and the such. So it was a fun time. Yeah, so then I collected these service training manuals that they had for the mechanics. The other thing that I got my hands on virtually every publication that even mentioned in this case, the 2000 BMW M5. All the reviews that they did. There's some they went head to head. This was the trifecta, if you will. With the battle between the M5, the Jaguar and the Mercedes. And again, Top Gear did a story on the M5. That one's a fairly newer one. And so, yeah, so anyways, I've got all kinds of information pertaining to this car. So you kind of see I guess my wife calls it a bit of an infatuation about it, but it was a wonderful car. And back in the day, to have 400 horsepower, to have the 6-speed manual was just unbelievable. And so shortly thereafter, time came around, and I ended up selling it, and I knew darn well that I would regret that event, and I did. And so fast forward a number of years, and I decided to go on a search for one, and this is where this M5 comes in. I really did want a 2000 model year again. I know most will not agree with that. The later years, the 01, 02, 03 are said to have many modifications and updates and betterments to it, if you will. But that, I'm sorry, that doesn't hold water to me. I really wanted back to the 2000. It was what was special to me. I do like the look, or I love the look of it. I know the face lifted with the headlights and the taillights. I know many or most prefer that, but I personally enjoy this look. I like the headlights the way they are. I love the dash, the cluster, the dark, as opposed to having the light gray background. But yeah, these lights I think look quite nice on this car. I don't know if you've noticed, but my license plate, I did get that back in, I guess I'd ordered in 1999. In Ontario here, I wasn't allowed to get 400 BHP because I was too close, I guess, to the regular Ontario plates. But they did allow 4DD BHP. So if hopefully as I'm driving ahead of you or going by, you will just look at it and think that those Ds are zeros. And so I guess it was 2015, after a good search, and believe me, it was an interesting search because there was quite a number of them for sale, but oh my goodness, the conditions of them were absolutely atrocious. They were rusted, they were beat, they were just, nobody had taken care of the majority of them. And so my search brought me all over in Canada here. I want to hopefully find one in Canada, in which I did, and actually I went touring around all over the place. I went close to 600 or 700 kilometers away from my home, and I ended up finding this one about an hour away and only about 100 kilometers away. And so back in 2015, I purchased this one, and this again is a 2000. My original one is very similar to this. The only difference was I'd ordered it in jet black with the caramel interior. But this one here came with carbon black, and I was all right with that. The carbon black is a stunning color. It's, you know, I don't particularly know why they call it black. It really is just a very deep blue, but it is a stunning car. So again, I've owned it for a good number of years. I've kept it all original. I did not do any modifications. I have done a lot of work to it, preventative maintenance, if you will. This is original paint. So although it is not perfect, it is in very, very good condition. You know, no dents or bangs or huge scratches or anything like that. The only sort of thing that isn't perfect is the front. If I were to show it here, you know, there are a few stone chips, although there is a 3M tape on it. On the top of the hood, there's a few chips and stuff, but other than that, it's in really good condition. But again, it is original paint, so that I'm really thrilled about. The previous owner kept this car in the garage. Like 99.9% of its life was spent in the garage, and since I've had it, it's about the same. Reason you can tell that is this back shelf here. Usually these go very, very light, like a slight silvery. And so this has actually stayed like the original color. So I'm really thrilled about that. But as you can tell, this is the original paint, and it's not in bad shape at all. And so on the interior, this is what I had chosen to go with years ago, and I was so happy to find this color again, because I know the M5 comes in a variety of colors, and some will argue where the titanium trim and the sporty look is more befitting of it. I always enjoyed this look. It was just a very classy, beautiful look, if you will. This, I believe in Canada, the majority of them were all sold, at least in 2000, you could order, it was all the full leather. So the dash is got the leather trim, the doors, all the upper and such are all leather. So that makes it a little bit different. And so here, I'll give you a little bit better look and pan of the interior. So right now, kilometer-wise, I believe I'm at 81,921 kilometers. So that's roughly about 50,000 miles, a little bit better than that. And here is there's the gauges I was telling you about. I love the black gauges, and I don't have any problems with the pixels. They're all working beautifully. Dash, everything's in good shape. All the wood as well. As you can tell, it's got a nice gloss to it. It's all the original shifter boot. I didn't replace any of that. And again, all the leather is all in great condition. A number of years ago, I contacted my local BMW dealer, and I could not believe it, but they had availability of the upper part of the seat. I purchased a new leather for this upper part, and so I have it stored. So if ever I want to replace it, it's there. This bolster is not bad. It's not perfect. The bottom here is fine. I actually, a few years ago, I'd replaced the cushion underneath because the cushion ends up sort of letting go and tearing apart. But if I ever want to replace this, I do have the leather to do it. Not long ago, I purchased these WeatherTech mats. They do make them for the E39. And although I do have the original BMW carpeted mats, I also have the BMW rubber mats as well. And then I chose to go with these ones. It does protect a little bit more, especially this caramel carpeting. I replaced this trim piece here, and I just haven't brought myself to remove the protective tape. I replaced these pieces, of course, all the gaskets, all the rubbers here. Those I had to replace, at least the front. This car is 21 years old, so, but as you can tell, the doors, the leather is all in great shape. Even sticking my head in there, it even smells like a new car. It's just, I just love this car, but anyway, I digress here. So here's the back. Again, the caramel leather is all in great condition. I don't think anybody ever sat in the back. In my original one, I had the baby's seats. I had two boys. My two boys were, 5 and 2 at the time. And so I remember I had put these big, sort of mats and such to protect the leather from the leather, or from the baby seats being anchored in. Anyway, so there, and then the Alcantara, I guess, roof is all in great condition. So that's the interior of the car. All the door frames and stuff are great. And so I will pop I'll pop the hood and the trunk lid. So let's start with the hood here. So the thing that makes this car so absolutely special is this particular engine, and here we are. And so it's nice and spotless. I have done some preventative maintenance on this car. Seeing that we were nearing 20 years, I know there's a lot of talk about the timing chain guides, the plastic letting go, and I just went ahead and got that replaced. And so I think it was in 2019. There's a wonderful mechanic that works at a BMW dealer here that specialized in engines. And he was one of the most meticulous mechanics I'd ever met. And so he went ahead and changed the timing chain guides. And boy, that was an awful job, or an awfully big job. And I'm glad I did do it. Again, plastic, I've learned that with age, it does get brittle. And although when they were removed, they weren't bad, they were just starting to let loose a little bit, I was just happy to get it done. And of course, at the time, I changed every gasket, from the valve cover gaskets, the oil pan gasket, changed belts, changed all the fluids, changed the spark plugs, all the filters, anything that could or should be done was done. I also shortly after replaced the clutch, changed the rear main seal. I got the differential serviced and replaced all the seals on the differential. Again, anything preventative. Again, this car is 21 years old, so I wanted to get ahead of all this stuff. So I know the ongoing joke is that, if you have a BMW, you're going to have oil leaking all over the place, but I can pretty well guarantee that there's no oil leaking on this one. It cost me a little bit of money to do it, but it's not leaking oil. And so so this is my car. And one of the other things that I did recently is I replaced all the brakes. And again, I wanted to keep it with the complete from the factory, so I didn't do any aftermarket. I know there's probably some better brakes that are available for it, but I just wanted to keep this car as absolutely original as I could. Now the story I bought, these are 4 brand new rims that I purchased, I guess, in 2017. I knew that BMW at one point was going to either discontinue them or run out of them. And so I bought those new rims and sat on them till this year. And I ended up putting these Michelin Pilot 4S tires on it as well. And so, so yeah, this is my car. I absolutely love this car. Every time I come in the garage, a huge smile comes on my face. And although it is not my daily driver, and rarely does it go out really, I just enjoy having it, and just being able to sort of use it periodically. I'll take it out for a nice run. I am cautious, so I never abuse this car. I really don't. This is not why I got this car, and I know it is capable. And I've seen, every video you see of these E39 M5s are either burning the tires off or doing every donut in the parking lots, and which is great for them. But this car has never, nor will it ever under my ownership, see anything like that. So there we are, and then here's the rear rim and the tires, and again, those are new brakes back there. And so I ended up doing this. These rotors here, they don't really finish them, so I put a couple of coats of ceramic on there. Hopefully keep them from rusting and stuff. Well, it doesn't see the rain, so I don't think that'll ever occur. And here's the gas cap area, so no rust or anything. Unfortunately, I think BMW would have designed that better and the water could escape, but unfortunately, that's a real Achilles heel of this particular car. And again, it is all original paint, so there's no rust or anything. Again, this car has never seen the winter, really hasn't seen much in rain, at least under my ownership. And I know the previous owner said, actually, he was a really nice gentleman. He had a lot of great BMW, had an M6 in his garage and had a few other ones. Just a really nice gentleman. He had bought this car and took into care of it. And then, of course, it came under my ownership. And so here, this is the trunk area. And I have the BMW car cover. And then this is a windshield guard to help repel the sun rays. I've never used it, but I thought, well, I'll get one and have it in there. Got my quarts of oil, which I've never really had to add any. It doesn't really, again, I don't put that much mileage, so I change the oil every year and don't have that issue. Yeah, and all the trim is in good shape. This piece I had to replace, though. This gets knocked up and banged up. And of course, I got my battery charger here that I have, and I just put a microfiber to protect the paint and such. Oh yeah, and I want to show you, here is my toolkit. This everybody wants to see. Anybody with an E39 M5 wants to sort of see what's going on. Do you have all the tools? Do you have everything? And I'm very fortunate in mine. I do have all of the products that are meant to be in there are in there. Even the triangle, the safety triangle, I got from a gentleman in Europe. And although they were never included in the North American market, there was space for it, and so I put that there. And of course, the lock nut for the rims. So yeah, so that's the tool tray, and it does have all the tools. So I'm pretty happy with that. There we go. So this is the trunk. I just replaced all these shocks and such as well. I didn't want this thing banging me in the head one day, and I knew I was going to do it. And there. And so this is my 2000 BMW E39 M5. It is not the fastest, it's not the most powerful, certainly not anymore. You can get RAV4s, I think, that have 400 horsepower, or Corollas or whatever. It doesn't seem like a whole lot when you got cars doing 800 horsepower now. But back in the day, this really was an amazing car, and it's still, to me, it still is. So again, hopefully you've enjoyed this tour. If you have any questions or any comments, I would certainly appreciate hearing from you. And I cannot thank you enough for taking the time for watching this video, and I hope you're all staying safe.